Well, it'll be interesting to see how the road is today, because it was torrential rain last night, really bad. We're on typhoon warning emergency. Some parts of the islands are under typhoon warning, so deemed to be a lot of rain coming. So thought have a look on the way down. Now I'm going to go down to the our property, our project, see how things are going down there, take a few pictures, and so I'll switch over now to the other side so you can see what I'm going through. Now if it bumps about and you get dizzy, well, don't blame me, okay? Blame the road. Okay, well, there we are. This is our little bridge. Boy, this takes me back in time every time I go through this, because the Raptor only just goes through it. And we showed you on our last video down, we showed you how the rain is really dumping a lot of water down. The rice fields are absolutely choked, and on four-wheel drive, or we'd never make it out over this next part. It's just so strange. We had the grader come in and he was out doing some bits of the road that belongs to the barangay, and we've got, I remember when we put this road in, this just used to be a path. This road was actually mapped out by Rado with his carabao and a hand plow, and then dug out by hand by a lot of guys with stronger backs than I have. Now the thing is, on the left there, let me turn you around a bit. On the left there, it's a drop of about 15 feet, and there's no barrier there, of course, and this grass is deceiving. It makes it look as if there would be something to hold you back, but there's not. So you've got to be very careful going out. And there's something very special about the composition of the land here. This is it's clay, and once it gets wet it becomes really deadly. Now this part has been a little bit has been dug out on the left there so that we can get through by Rado with the best of intentions, but the solution has become worse than the problem, as you can see. And this is the challenge even for the Raptor, you know, so. And it's not a whole lot better in sections of the main road, well, down to the main road. Problem is, once it gets a furrow in the road there, then it fills with water, and then if you go through it again, it grinds it up a bit more. We do plan, when we're finished building down there, for as long as it will take, we do plan on moving down to Burgos. I know that nostalgic Beth will still have a very soft spot for this place that we started our lives in, but I'll be willing to sacrifice it to have a concrete road outside the door. Easy to see where I decided that I would never ride the bike again on this way up to the house. So we're still on our little bit of the road. It just services the house and Rado and Lena and all the family. And this is where the road divides and it goes off to the left. You can see how much water has been dumped. It's a terrific amount of rain, and it's been non-stop for the last 2 days. This isn't too bad at the moment, but it's a surprising road in that every so often when the drainage seems to change, one section of the road will become a nightmare, and I can see that this is deteriorating fast. But this was, living where we live proved to be something of a boon when we were 2 to 3 years ago going through all of the lockdown nonsense, which has now been proved to be a total waste of time, but they're still talking about it. I went to renew my permanent residence visa. You have a card, but they don't update, don't give you a new card. What they do is they just give you a piece of paper which is stamped with the date that you came in and your approval granted. Now this little part can get quite scary, because it goes off about 50 feet, 40, 50 feet to the right there, and once again there's nothing. There's a mound, but not much to stop you from going over there. And of course you wouldn't drive down there, you'd roly-poly. Yeah, so back to the residence. Once you have been approved for residence, and once you paid the money, for those who are interested in knowing, it's an easy process. It's so easy, in fact, that Beth and I did it ourselves. We did the paperwork ourselves. Neither Beth nor myself are exactly, well, certainly me, I'm not adept. In fact, I dread doing any paperwork. Now, this is developing into a very awkward place, because if you go off to the right or off to the left, you know, you're likely to be bottoming out down to the axle. This is where, see, and I cannot do other than slide into that when it's really wet, which it is right now. And coming up to this part, you'll see that the road is completely destroyed up here, because there was what I suspect was a two-wheel drive family van was stuck, and it was stuck right here where you can see deep water and all of that new soil disturbed. And when I passed, coming back this way, so fortunately they had a tow rope, so we were able to fasten onto the front of the Raptor, and then I backed up and pulled the van out. But I must be honest, I wouldn't have been able to do it if it hadn't have been for about 15 young guys who were also with the van, and so a lot of pushing got the van out and on its way. So anyway, we went up to for the awards yesterday, and we received an award for our work that we've been doing with the church. Sorry, not the churches. We just built a church which is maybe 90% finished, and we'll struggle with the rest. But we were invited to go by the Department of Education because we've been doing work which the government just seems to be locked on getting the money out to these people. So the principals of a lot of schools have been writing to us and asking, can we go there and fix their classrooms. There's probably not, certainly in our part of the, within say a 30 or 40 mile radius to us, there's probably not a school that hasn't lost the roof to at least one row of classrooms. So they're in dire need. So we've done a lot of work on that, so much so that, as I say, we still get a lot of pleas for help. It's not a request because these are quite urgent, but there's a limit to what we can do, and we do what we can with what we have. It's good to remind people that really we are just a little tin pot charity working at the grassroots level. We work for, Beth and I do our work on a volunteer basis, which involves a great deal of work, but we do that as a way of giving back, because we do feel that we have a good life. That good life was never given to us. It was what we worked very hard for. So back again to the man that I met was an American. While I was waiting, I sat next to a man, I guess in his 60s, and he had come out to the Philippines, I'm guessing with the intention of staying, but his plans had changed a great deal because he arrived just before lockdown, which of course that was a very sudden thing that was mandated, and everybody was locked down. A lot of people, like this man, were caught literally staying in what would have been a very short stay, in his case in a 5-star hotel in Manila. So the lockdown came and they were in a 5-star hotel. As I say, you can imagine what that cost to stay in a very modest hotel here, clean and nice, but a modest hotel. The Wayside Inn, very good to stay. We recommend that to a lot of people that come, people who are not fixed to be able to stay in a 5-star hotel. So they go along and they stay in the Wayside Inn, which has a carinderia type of restaurant adjoining it. So the food is it's a modest menu, and the food is very cheap. So it can work a lot for a lot of people. But this man obviously came with money, certainly money able to support a lifestyle with even short stays in a 5-star hotel in Manila. No sooner had they booked in and had made an appointment to have a look at a house that they were going to rent, but lockdown descended and they were trapped in the 5-star hotel. Well, I don't think they do you any favors if you're locked down. You're locked down and that's it, that's the law. So he said it was ironic because from where they were in the hotel, they could see the house that they had tried to make had made an appointment and failed to view because of being locked down. He said that they were locked down for 3 months. So finally, I imagine getting almost to desperation situation, they sneaked out of the hotel and booked a stay in this rental house. But of course, by that time his funds were pretty well decimated, so that brought about a huge change in plans. And the reason that I mention this is because this was not unusual. A lot of people were trapped by the lockdown. It affected lives in a multitude of ways, and he was now having to go back to the States, where he would have to find work. Fortunately, I said, "Wow, won't you be lucky to find a job?" I said, "I have a friend who has been back to America and tried to get work, and he was I said my friend was an accomplished man, certainly with skills that would be very much in demand in normal circumstances, but was unable to get work." So this man said that at least that was a glimmering of hope, was that he had worked as an independent consultant for a few different companies, and he felt certain that he would be able to find work to replenish his bank account, I guess. But he'd had to pay heavily, which I won't go into because someone might find why whoever the man dealt with would have to be uncovered. But it was one of those things where a little grease helped the situation to go on. He was able to get barangay clearance to be able to leave the country, but it cost him heavily. So here we are, we're down at the road again, and happy to see that tarmac or cement road. Now this is how things are changing. You see these heavy vehicles that are passing now. They are on the increase because we are very close, as you may know if you've been following our videos. They are very close to a number of quarries. One where we built the church, the small church in the mountains above the quarry. So you've got a lot of different construction going on, and there is a lot of construction going on. New businesses are opening, and this is where I feel that there's a contradiction between some of the forecasts about how terrible things are going to be, which I don't doubt that things will get worse, because all of the indications are that way. But as far as Taliban goes, we seem to be enjoying even a boom. Lots of businesses are opening. Some of the big businesses like Suzuki, especially I must say, the motorcycle, anything to do with the motorcycle is now look at this. This is the Filipino passion for double parking, is what I call it. Could have parked anywhere, but he parked opposite, narrowing our road through. But anyway, I'm on the road up now to our project, but there seems to be such a lot of building, and you can see it by the number, the increase in the number of those trucks. Now up ahead, this is a mode of transport and carrying of goods and people. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 5 or 6 people on that tricycle. That's what I call a commercial tricycle. You'll see pigs, anything from pigs to rice to people to kids going for school, and they'll be riding in something like that. And you can see there's no number plate. There's probably no registration, and it's probably held together by duct tape. But that's the way of life here, where money is very hard to come by. Turning around by the school now. We did a giveaway of something or other there at that school. There's another one of those. That was with 6 adults. Anytime that I get comments which are well-intentioned and actually quite valid, and that is about safety, but it's such an irony to talk about safety in the Philippines, because the parameters for what is regarded as safe are so different to the way that things are done in the West. You know, to talk about someone, say, that should only have 2 people on a motorcycle but has 7. Quite common to see 7 people on a motorcycle, and then people want to then talk about wearing a safety belt. So you can see that it starts to get quite a conflict, contradiction of terms. And now I'm at our project. When we were going through our really testing time, let me transfer over